How much are you going to save once you have minimized everything? What are you going to do? Not eat? Hey everyone, how's it going? You're watching Kogi Lumpur. In today's video, I would like to break down another piece of garbage advice that most of society likes to parrot around in order to lead people or mislead people off the edge of a cliff. And that advice is, in order to grow your savings, you have to spend less money and save more money. That is the biggest pile of garbage that I've ever heard. And although it might seem like clickbait or something, the real solution is, instead of trying to focus your mental energy and your resources trying to skimp and save and minimize, you should be spending that energy on trying to earn more money. Think of ways to earn more. And the reason why this is because earning more money is going to be infinitely more scalable than attempting to save and cut down and skimp on whatever things that you're spending on a day-to-day basis. And really this comes from interacting with a lot of people, including the person that I'm seeing. You know, when I first started dating her, one of her comments was that, you know, I seem to be spending a lot of money every month, and that maybe I should start spending less, right, on eating out, all these fancy salons and whatever, taking care of myself. And maybe I would have more savings every month. And that's something that I told her right off the bat, like, I believe in spending okay, right? You got to spend on whatever you got to spend on. And the real way to grow your savings is really to make more money. Because even if I was to cut down on all these like fancy expenses that I had at the time, I still wouldn't be able to save much, because how much am I going to save, you know, between the amount that I'm earning from working for someone else as an employee and the stuff that I have to spend on bare necessities in order to keep myself alive, right? Food, clothing, shelter. And the same thing goes when I heard this conversation at a friend's place the other day. He runs a food store, and his mom was having a conversation with someone else who was working there about this one girl that she knew who was trying to like skimp and save. Like, she just graduated from college and she didn't want to go traveling. She wouldn't eat this, that, and the other because she was trying to save more money. And I couldn't help but be a little bit of a busybody and poke my nose into the conversation. I'm like, man, you should tell that chick, whoever she is, that she needs to focus her time and energy not on trying to save more money, because how much are you going to save once you have minimized everything? What are you going to do? Not eat? She needs to focus on trying to make ways to earn more money. Because the amount of money that you can ultimately earn is potentially unlimited. The amount of money that you could save by cutting down on almost everything, right? Cutting your own hair, living in a tiny shoebox, not eating out, just cooking at home every single day, not having a car, just not going out with a lot of people in order to further minimize all your interactions and reduce the amount of money that you have to spend. Spend as much time walking instead of going by public transport even. How much are you going to save? Because that was my lifestyle before I was this high spender that I was known for when I started dating the person that I'm still dating right now. Because I've tried that whole spiel and it didn't work. I still didn't have that much savings. So this story really comes from living in Europe. My first salary over there was something like 50,000 euros a year, which a lot of stupid people in Malaysia were like, oh my God, 50,000 euros times 5.0, 250,000 ringgit. Bro, you're so rich. Stupid fucks. Because these people have never been outside of Malaysia, obviously, or they've decided to spend most of their time reading brain rot on social media, that they don't realize that you get taxed 50% on your income in a lot of these Western European countries, which meant that my take-home pay every single month was 2,300 euros every single month. That's right, 2,300 euros a month. That's not a lot from 50,000 a year. So what I was doing at the time was I was living in a 20 square meter, 200 square foot studio apartment. That's right, that's a fucking shoebox. There was a kitchen, there was a toilet, and there was a fucking bed above the toilet, right? It was one of those high ceiling studios that they have in Europe. And I didn't eat out a lot. My eating out expenditure every single month was under 200 euros a month. and my grocery bill was about the same, and my public transportation to go to work was something like 100 euros every single month. So my bare minimum to live was 1,000 euros a month, and that was what I was living on. And that still didn't matter because at the end of the day, the amount of savings I was taking back every single month, 2,300 euros minus 1,000 euros every single month, is 1,300 euros a month. 1,300 euros. That's about, I don't know what it was that time, 1,600 US dollars, 1,900 Singapore dollars, or about 7,000 ringgit a month. It's not a lot. Did my salary go up over the next few years? Yeah, sure it did. But even if I was living on the exact same lifestyle, there was a little bit of lifestyle inflation. I eventually moved to a bigger, proper sized apartment. I started treating myself to better home cooked food, although I was still reluctant to go out to eat a lot. My expenditure every single month, probably grew to like 1,400, 1,500 euros a month at its peak. And the highest salary that I was earning was maybe somewhere north of 3,000 euros a month. So I was still taking back like maybe 1,800 euros every single month as savings. And that wasn't a lot at all. Certainly not enough to down pay for a house in Europe, in a major city. And still not enough to buy a house in cash back in Malaysia. That's the reason why I say all the freaking time that this mentality of trying to save more money is stupid. Because what are you going to do? Like, what happens once you've just hit rock bottom and live like a fucking hobo when your income is still the same? Are you going to live that way for the rest of your life? Probably not, because you're probably going to get married, you're going to have kids. That's going to cost you more money. You're going to have to buy yourself a proper house. And without ever spending a single brain cell on how to increase your income, you're going to be fucking miserable living that same shitty ass lifestyle because your salary is not going to grow a lot. And that's why I keep telling people you need to be focusing on trying to earn more money. And sadly, nowadays, shit is expensive, right? I grew up in a middle class family, or upper middle class a little bit at the time, where we were going out every single week on Friday to the Hilton in KL to eat Japanese food. That cost me and my family about 200 ringgit, 250 ringgit back in the day, which was a shitload of money at the time. And that's something that I think a lot of people won't be able to do even today, because the salaries are so shitty. My parents earned like average salaries, and they were still able to afford buying a house, buying the cars, and eating out well every single weekend. That's not something you can do with an average middle class salary anymore, because the worth of money is just so little. Like, inflation's eaten up a lot of the spending power of the average person. So if you keep trying to save and skimp and whatever, it doesn't matter, because inflation is still going to drive up all the costs at the end of the day. And if you don't try to grow the income that you're earning, you're going to get just more and more and more miserable. Not just because your amount of savings that you're taking home becomes less and less and less. It's because you're just like living a shitty ass lifestyle, man. Like, I wasn't like this high spender most of my life, right? Don't get me wrong, because a lot of people love to stereotype, especially in this part of the world, based on my level of English and the way I dress and stuff like that. A lot of people have stereotyped my person based on my appearance. There wasn't time, like I said, where I was literally spending 1,000 euros a month on a bare minimum lifestyle. I was perfectly happy with that, but I was still not happy with the amount of savings that I was taking home, because my income wasn't a lot. That's when I learned that as much as I can save fucking 35 euros by cutting my own hair, that's literally what I did. I had a mirror in my bathroom, and I was cutting my own hair with a body hair shaver, which I still have today, right? And the way that I would cut my hair behind and be able to see how I was cutting it was I held this handheld mirror behind me, so I could look in the mirror in front of me to see how I was doing, like as I was shaving my head like this. Yeah, I've led that lifestyle before, and I can tell you, it doesn't fucking work because it's not scalable. It's not scalable at all, but that's not what society's gonna tell you. They're gonna keep telling you, it's time for you to spend less, bro, because that's how you grow your savings. No, it's not. The way that you grow your savings is by thinking of ways to earn more money. And sadly, most of the time nowadays, that really doesn't cut it if you're thinking of like jumping to another company with a higher salary, because salaries aren't keeping up with cost of living anymore, which is the reason why I keep shilling this shit on this channel, that you need to be thinking about starting your own business and doing something even on the side while you have your, employee income, because having that employee income alone these days doesn't cut it. That's it for today, and I hope you learned something. See you all in the next video. Goodbye.